The race for the next Harris County judge is moving full speed ahead with public safety at the center of the fight between Harris County Judge Lina Hidalgo, a Democrat, and her opponent, Republican Alexandra Mealer. Today, Mealer announced part of her plan to tackle crime in Harris County. Here's Gerald Harris.
With $1.5 million on hand, Alexandria Mealer is hitting the airwaves to increase her name ID for voters with a focus on crime in Harris County.
We don't have to agree on every issue, but we agree on the most important. And the most important is our county's responsibility, our obligation to protect the most vulnerable, and that's what's not happened.
Surrounded by a host of law enforcement leaders, including constables and union leaders, Mealer, a Republican, unveiled priorities she believes will solve public safety issues in the county.
We have the votes we get in office to fund 1,000 additional law enforcement positions. That is a serious commitment to safety.
However, funding for additional officers could come with reduced funding for other areas, such as county health and education programs, something Mealer acknowledged.
So there's going to have to be cuts. Like I said, we're talking about 5% of the budget across departments, and we're offering a clear framework. The more you impact public safety, that's the funding priority.
Judge Lina Hidalgo, elected during a blue wave through Harris County, responded in a statement saying, quote, "Now this is something. Today we hear a bold plan for more officers, yet Mealer is critical of the pay raises for those officers." While yesterday the attorney for Governor Greg Abbott and Comptroller Glenn Hager called accusations that Harris County defunded law enforcement much ado about nothing, top Republican leaders of Texas have repudiated Alex Mealer's repeated lies to the point she scrubbed them from her site. Yet here we are, end quote. Mealer says addressing the criminal court backlog, forensic delays, and hiring more prosecutors will be a part of her plan to reform criminal justice in the country's fourth largest county. Gerald Harris, KHOU 11 News.
Harris County leaders are celebrating a legal victory after the state accused the Commissioner's Court of defunding local law enforcement. Now, we have been following this story ever since two Harris County constables complained to the state that the county was withholding funding from their offices. At issue was a new policy which stopped allowing county agencies from automatically rolling over unused funding from one fiscal year to the next. That's when the state comptroller Glenn Hager and Governor Abbott accused the Commissioner's Court of defunding those constables and threatened to freeze its budget proposal for the next year. But the county argued the proposed budget actually increases funding for law enforcement and sued Hager and Abbott, accusing them of abusing their power. And now Precinct 2 Commissioner Adrian Garcia says attorneys for Hager and Abbott admitted they have not determined the county budget reduces funding for law enforcement and will not continue with their investigation. Garcia says both sides are expected to reach an agreement to allow the county's budget proposal to move forward. And new this afternoon, Comptroller Glenn Hager is out with the response saying, in part, "My role is not to prevent the adoption of a budget. It is to examine whether the adopted budget complies with Texas law. My letters warned the county that their proposed budget would not be in compliance."